Now at 5, Barcelona Driving School shares a list of helpful tips to help ensure your safety on the road during the upcoming winter months.
The new Republican majority Congress kicks off its first day today. Emilia Cavazos with the latest on Capitol Hill.
And a growing school district in Northeast Oklahoma is asking voters to approve a $6 million bond issue.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As we kick off the new year, it looks like we're in for a dramatic finish with a winter storm on the horizon. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. Now, AAA has issued a caution for drivers to stay alert as icy conditions are expected to roll in. Let's now turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at what's in store.
Yeah, what this all really simply comes down to is where do you live in the 4-state area, because there's going to be a big difference across the region. First off, most of this system is 75% of it's going to be rain, but the other 25% will cause some issues. This evening's fine. 30s, we slide back through the 30s as we go through the evening hours. Winter weather advisory, southeastern Kansas in this purple color, in the brighter purple or pinkish from Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, winter storm warning. And everybody else, we're not in any advisories at this point in time. All right, let me take you through time. As we go through tonight, clouds start to increase. By morning, we'll start to see a little bit of drizzle. There may be a brief period of freezing drizzle in our northern counties. Everybody else liquid. And then light showers start to increase as we go through the afternoon hours. But most of this gets moving tomorrow night. Showers, even thunderstorms across the region. But watch our northern counties. You guys are right on that line, so you're going to have a mixture of rain and freezing rain. Rain continues into Sunday morning, still some freezing rain, northern counties, and then we get what is called our dry slot. That means the dry air punching in. I think at this time, moving into Sunday afternoon, freezing drizzle settles in. So that could cause a problem because the roads will get a little glaze of ice. Then we get a back band of snow, which should affect everybody, pushing through Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. So that's something we really want to watch closely. All right, how much ice could we get? Mainly a glaze from Joplin north, but northern counties, 1/10, quarter of an inch or so, which again could cause some issues. How much snow could we get? Most of us south of I-44, inch or less. Joplin north, 1 to 2, 2 to 5. Once you get into our northern counties. So of course, we're going to break this down a little bit more. Plus, we have Arctic air moving in. We're going to talk about that here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, AAA is alerting drivers to be aware of icy and snowy road conditions. Local driving instructor Johnny Barcelona says reduced visibility is a big hazard. He recommends preparing by having a mechanic put de-icer in your windshield washer fluid. He says if your car is stuck in snow, don't rock it. It's best to call for help. According to the Federal Highway Administration, 24% of weather-related crashes occur on snowy, icy, or slushy pavement.
If it's the ice on the road, it's a no-go. You just can't drive on it. You can't control it. Even big semis, you'll see them in the ditches.
Barcelona says a common mistake is pouring hot water on your windshield to remove ice because it can lead to cracks. He suggests using your car's defroster instead. The Cleora Public School District in Oklahoma is asking voters to approve a $6 million bond issue. It's a non-tax increase bond, so taxes would not be raised if passed. The funds would add an addition to and renovate Cleora school facilities. The district superintendent says the student body has grown by 50% in the past 10 years. He says they are struggling to support the district's growing needs in the current facilities.
Sometimes they're in the hallways. Sometimes there are 2 or 3 groups in the library where there's 2 or 3 other things going on, and just wherever we can put them. So it's crucial that we get them the extra space that they need.
Voters will decide on the bond issue January 14th. Tonight at 6, we'll break down what changes would be made if it's passed. Well, the first day of the new Congress brought an immediate challenge, electing Speaker of the House. Now, President-elect Donald Trump backed the current Speaker, Mike Johnson, but he did not get enough votes in the initial tally. CBS's Emilia Cavazos has the latest from Capitol Hill.
The new Congress was called to order at noon with an immediate task at hand, electing the Speaker of the House.
The name of the Honorable Mike Johnson.
President-elect Trump endorsed Johnson this week in his fight to keep his job. Conference Chair Lisa McClain made the case for the Louisiana Republican.
He is steadfast in his values of faith, family, and love of this country. He knows our brightest days are still ahead of us, and I do too.
Alford Johnson.
Then came the pivotal vote, and Johnson failed to get a majority. After a brief break, since the initial vote hadn't been officially tallied yet, South Carolina Representative Ralph Norman and Keith Self from Texas were convinced to change their votes.
Mr. Self Johnson.
Bringing Johnson a win.
The Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress.
No other business could unfold until the Speaker was chosen, with a slim margin of only a couple possible defections to ensure re-election. Republicans now control both chambers of Congress for the first time since 2019. Donald Trump promises an ambitious list of changes with the help of lawmakers.
We need to unify so that we can move the Trump agenda.
Next week brings the certification of Trump's White House win. Nidia Cavazos, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries was also reelected in his role. Well, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies are expressing concern about possible copycat attacks in the wake of the deadly New Year's Day vehicle ramming in New Orleans that killed 14 people and wounded dozens of others. The FBI now says the driver acted alone. Investigators say 42-year-old Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar was inspired by ISIS. His brother tells CBS News he noticed Jabbar becoming more outwardly religious, but said he saw nothing to suggest he was radicalized. Overnight, the FBI and other agencies issued an intelligence bulletin warning of possible copycat attacks, given the vehicle's ease of acquisition and the low skill threshold necessary to follow through. Well, still ahead, a warning from the U.S. Surgeon General.
The U.S. Surgeon General is sounding the alarm about alcohol use and cancer risk. I'm Bradley Blackburn with why he wants a new warning label added to alcoholic beverages.
And later in Health Watch, considering starting the new year on a dry note, the executive editor of Food and Wine offers some suggestions of mocktails you may want to try. Topping today's Health Watch, beverages containing alcohol should carry a health warning label about cancer risk. That's according to a new advisory from the U.S. Surgeon General. Bradley Blackburn has the details.
U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy has released a new advisory warning about alcohol use and cancer risk. It says alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. after tobacco and obesity, increasing the risk for at least 7 cancers, including breast, colorectal, esophagus, liver, mouth, throat, and voice box, regardless of what type of alcohol is consumed.
When a Surgeon General sends such a message, it can be very important. I'm hoping this will have the same change that we saw with tobacco in 1964.
Alcoholic beverages currently have warnings about birth defects if consumed by pregnant women. Dr. Murthy is calling for an updated warning label to include cancer risk. Alcohol is responsible for 100,000 cases of cancer and 20,000 cancer deaths annually. Dr. Akhil Anand is an addiction psychiatrist with the Cleveland Clinic.
Alcohol is really good at breaking down protein, and our whole body's made out of protein. And over time, it causes damage to cells, inflammation. It really, not just cancer, it causes more than 200 different diseases in the body, directly or indirectly.
Advisories from the Surgeon General are reserved for public health concerns needing urgent awareness and action. In recent years, Dr. Murthy has issued other calls to action on mental health, firearm violence, and social media. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
For breast cancer in particular, roughly 16% of breast cancer cases in the U.S. can be attributed to alcohol. Well, if you're allergic to nuts, it may be a good idea to stay away from alcohol. A new study finds drinking alcohol could make nut allergies even deadlier. The findings raise particular concerns about nut-flavored alcoholic beverages, which might expose unsuspecting consumers to trace amounts of allergens. And they warn even artificial flavorings could pose risk. Well, these days, there are plenty of options for non-alcoholic drinks that mimic the taste of the real deal. The host of CBS Mornings tried a few of them, including an alcohol-free Negroni mixed by Food and Wine executive editor Ray Isle. He explains why even some non-alcoholic wines, such as a Riesling that they tried, still taste and smell like they contain alcohol.
It's really good Riesling for the first part. It's from a really good producer who makes great regular Rieslings. And what they do is they vacuum distill it. You drop the pressure down so that you can boil off the alcohol at like 82 degrees.
Sales of non-alcoholic spirits, wine, and beer jumped more than 30% in 2023 compared to a 1% increase for alcoholic beverages. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, your financial resolutions.
Save money and pay down debt are New Year's resolutions for millions of Americans. I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with tips on how to make that happen in 2025.
Plus, we're going to break down that weekend storm system coming. Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us today. It was chilly, a little breezy out there. It looks good right now. Nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Pretty much clear right now, but those clouds will thicken later on tonight. They really start to thicken up by midnight as we drop back into the upper 20s. So not a whole bunch going on here, but you can see our storm system developing out across the western third of the country. So quiet tonight, clouds increase. Drizzle picks up in the morning. Now there may be a little bit of freezing drizzle. Look at our temperatures. Sitting right around freezing, the northern half of the region as we go through the morning. But look how temperatures warm through the day into the mid to upper 30s, so most of us drizzle or a few random light showers. Tomorrow night, I think enough warm air is going to pump in. Everybody's going to be showers and thunderstorms, maybe mixed with a little bit of sleet in our northern counties. Here's about midnight, showers and thunderstorms into Sunday morning. At this point in time, our northern counties temperatures will start to hit that freezing mark and then kind of hang there through the morning. So this is when we're going to get freezing rain from Fredonia, Yates Center, Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton. If this system would shift a hair farther south, it would drop it a hair farther south, but I do not anticipate that happening. Dry slop punches in by midday. That means precip cuts off except for drizzle, which would be freezing drizzle. And then a band of light snow rotates through behind it. Ice, I think a light glaze, Joplin north, but our northern counties upwards of 1/4 of an inch, which could cause some issues across the region. Snow, most of us under 2 inches, inch or less south of I-44, 1 to 2, 2 to 5 in our northwestern counties. So weather impacts snow, it will stick to the roads even though we're not going to get much. Ice, light little glaze, turning much colder, and then the winds are going to be strong as well. So we are going to have road impacts with this as it moves through on Sunday, and our temperatures are really going to cool down. So by Monday afternoon, high temps only into lower 20s. And our wind chill, check this out. By Monday morning, 0 to about -10 across the region. So turning much colder. Even though we're not going to get a lot of snow, the problem here is our temperatures are going to stay below freezing for an extended period of time, so that will cause some road issues. Only 24 on Monday, down to 11 by Tuesday morning. So big switch next couple days.
Yeah, those dangerously low temperatures is really what I'm concerned about there too.
And the wind chill. Yeah.
Wind chill, yeah, ouch. All right, thanks Doug.
You bet.
Well, if there are any closures due to inclement weather from the weekend into Monday, you'll be able to find them on our website and on our KOAM News app. You can scan the QR code and bookmark the URL in your phone or download the free KOAM News app from your phone's app store. You'll find closures for schools, government entities, and churches. Again, get the latest list at KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, coming up, an appeals court rejects the return of net neutrality rules. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the labor union representing thousands of dock workers in the U.S. returns to the negotiation table as another strike looms. The International Longshoremen's Association and United States Maritime Alliance are set to continue contract discussions on Tuesday. A temporary deal was reached in October, which granted workers a 62% wage hike over 6 years. If a new deal is not reached by January 15th, workers could carry out another strike. An appeals court rejects the return of net neutrality rules. The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals says President Joe Biden's administration and the FCC did not have authority to reinstate net neutrality rules. The rules previously required internet providers to treat all data and users equally, rather than restricting access or forcing consumers to accept slowed down speeds for less costly access. Well, Tesla reporting disappointing sales numbers. The electric car company delivered more than 495,000 cars and trucks in the fourth quarter of last year, but Wall Street was expecting more than 500,000 deliveries. For the full year, Tesla deliveries topped 1.7 million, down 1% from 2023. Millions of people made New Year's resolutions this year, and for many, money is a big one. CBS News business analyst Jill Schleichinger says making the most of your finances requires a solid game plan.
Every year, Fidelity Investments asks Americans what their financial resolutions are. And for the 16th consecutive year, the top of the list is save more, pay down debt, and spend less. While these goals are admirable, they're not concrete enough. Instead of save more, the better alternative is contribute 6% of my salary to my retirement plan. Instead of reducing debt, write down how much extra money you're going to put towards an outstanding credit card balance or student loan. And for spend less, determine where exactly and by how much you can cut back. These resolutions do share something in common. They require you to understand how much money is coming in and going out of your household. Before you panic, I'm not going to tell you to create a budget, but you do need to track your money, and technology makes it easy. A few apps that have free versions include Pocket Guard, Good Budget, and Honeydew, which focuses on couples. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Well, final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, we go on the road with an unlikely pair and how one boy's generosity became a gift of friendship that keeps on giving. And then on KOAM News at 6, City of Pittsburgh's economic growth in southeast Kansas is on the rise. Plus, local congressmen weigh in on the narrow re-election of Mike Johnson. And Pittsburgh High School basketball faces Webb City High on the road. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hundreds of dinosaur footprints are discovered in the United Kingdom. Researchers from England's Birmingham and Oxford universities have uncovered an area of dinosaur footprints in a lime quarry in Oxfordshire. The dig at Dwar's Farm Quarry found 5 extensive trackways, now one of which measured more than 500 feet in length. Researchers say 4 of the tracks were made by gigantic, long-necked herbivorous dinosaurs called sauropods. The 5th by a megalosaurus, which, Doug, did you know, has distinctive 3-toed feet with claws.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
I'm not like a real dinosaur connoisseur. T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus. Yeah. That's about.
Megalosaurus sounds important.
It does. It does sound
kind of
important.
Cool.
All right. Weather-wise, drizzle and showers picking up tomorrow. We do briefly go to 46 on Sunday morning and then slam into the teens by the afternoon. An alert day due to a band of light snow.
All right. Keep an eye on that. Thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.